Hi everyone, my name is Chris Curtis. I'm a head and neck cancer survivor and also the chairman of the Swallows Head and Neck Cancer Support Charity. From cancer to the palace in 6 years, what a journey. Well, in 2017, 2nd of June, myself and Sharon was at Buckingham Palace being presented with the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service, which is equivalent to the MBE, and it's the highest award the Queen gives to any charity in the UK. My journey has been a road. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been a lot of dark places, there's been a lot of smiles. But it all started on the 29th of April 2011. And I had a lump on this side of the neck. It was got bigger and bigger. And I said to the wife, what do you think of this lump?
So we made an appointment for him at the doctor's, who referred him to the specialist at the hospital. So we went along and they did a biopsy on the lump there and then called us in on the Friday and actually told us that it was cancer.
The bombshell happened, and you've got cancer. And you know how 3 little words can change someone's life. On Friday the 13th at 11:30. That was devastating to me. It was, I can't even explain how I felt at that point. Before cancer, we were going to parties. I was 22 stone. You don't get to 22 stone without enjoying food and drink and socialising. My business was all about entertaining. I was in an incredible, great place. But it wasn't just my challenge, this. Going forward, it was going to be everyone around me, my family, my wife, the kids, my friends. Absolutely everyone was going to be on this journey. I didn't know that at that stage, because all I heard was, you have cancer.
From that point, Chris just switched off. He just went blank. Didn't really know what was going on, stopped listening.
To this day, I can't remember what happened after that, for that whole week. All I can relate it to was like a blue screen, old-fashioned. If you're old enough, the old-fashioned computers used to get a blue screen if you tried to do too much with it, and it would just freeze. I think my brain done that. Everyone was throwing questions at me. You're going to have radiotherapy, you're going to have chemotherapy, you're going to have 2 operations, you're going to have a peg fitted to be fed through a peg for so many years. It was like, hang on a minute, my brain don't want to hear any of this. So it just shut off.
Before we knew it, we were having appointments galore. Chris was fitted with a mask for the radiotherapy, which was a big, huge purple mask that was over his head and down to his chest. Things that we'd never experienced before, no idea about cancer at all. We realised that he'd have to have a feeding peg fitted into his stomach because he wouldn't be able to swallow or eat. I don't think I realised at the time just what impact that would have on the family, not just on him. And the problem we had with Chris is he went downhill from the moment he was told. He wasn't a very good patient. He was hard work. He didn't feed himself through the peg. He decided he couldn't do it. It wasn't possible, so I had to learn how to do that. It just changes your life completely. I became not just the breadwinner of the family because Chris couldn't work, but I had to become his carer.
The dreaded radiotherapy, being pinned to a bed for up to 40 minutes, and having your throat burn the living daylights out of you so it becomes black and blue, skin peeling off.
We stopped going out with people because, you know, food was part of our life, going out for meals, and that affects you. You know, you suddenly become just the 2 of you really trying to deal with this problem.
I was peg fed for about 3 years, so I didn't eat or swallow for up to 3 years. So I lost just over 12 stone in weight, so I went down to less than 10 stone. Best diet in the world. I've tried to sell it on the internet, I've called it the cancer diet, but nobody wants to buy it.
We struggled an awful lot. Chris got depression and went downhill for a long time. Couldn't talk to him, couldn't discuss anything with him, but still had to be there and look after him.
I stopped communicating with the family around the dinner table. I stopped going out with friends, and that was all because I couldn't eat or swallow. Would I recommend it to anybody? Not to my worst enemy. Would I have it again? Not if I had a choice. But I tell you what, it kept me alive. So of course I'd go through every minute of it again in a heartbeat, because I'm here talking to you guys today. Without my wife Sharon, my God, I wouldn't be here now. She was phenomenal. I don't know how she put up with me looking back. I was in my cancer bubble. It was all about me. It didn't matter what the hell was going on anywhere else. Sharon had to put up with all that. I wasn't the nicest patient. I wasn't the nicest husband. And to be fair, she never ever signed up for that when we got married. What I really wanted to do while I was going through my journey was just to pick up a phone or go out and meet someone that had done exactly what I was going through. Because I honestly felt that I was alone and I was the only one going through all this rubbish. My problem was, it was the unknown, which was the most frightening part. It was like a big, long tunnel that was black and I could not see any light at the end of it. So it was die or survive. And I remember a couple of times being in my car, the mortgage wasn't being paid, the bills wasn't being paid, Sharon was taking all these phone calls, and I had life insurance policies. And I thought, do you know what? The family, Sharon, would be so much better off without me. One day I opened up to Jo, my clinical nurse specialist, about those issues I was feeling. She got me in front of a doctor to help me with the depression, but also she suggested that I went along and had a look at what they called their little support group, which was the like-minded people that were sat in a room just talking. It was very much like an AA meeting. The first thing you had to do was say, I'm Chris and I've got cancer. And I felt like I was going to have to say, I'm Chris and I've not had a drink for a week. That is not what I wanted. So I went back, said that to Jo, and she said, yeah, but Chris, you've got a lot of experience. You can help change this thing. I had 30 years plus experience in marketing, sales, growing businesses, building teams, building visions, and I was quite successful at it. So I just honed in on all that experience, the times when I was sat at home on my own and started playing on my laptop with different things, which took me out of my bubble. No more was I feeling depressed. No more was I feeling that I was worthless. The Swallows was born out of the fact that that's what I wanted. The Swallows is all about support and awareness. It was based around the 6 C's: care, compassion, competence, communication, courage and commitment. So support groups are supposed to be about those 6 C's, not about, hi, I'm Chris and I've got cancer. Support group is just all about initially giving hope to that person that's in the room, a place where they can just open up, a place where they are not judged, a place where someone asks a question and do you know what, it's not a silly question. Also a place where they suddenly start realising that they're not alone. But if they want to come and not say a word, it's fine, they don't even have to introduce themselves, they just have to sit there. If they want to come and open up and tell the world about their story, they can do. It's about helping people and supporting people when they need support and help. And that could be a family member. It doesn't have to be the patient, it doesn't have to be the carer. It could be the child, it could be the granddad, it could be the brother, the sister. Some of our achievements since we started, we bought a machine for £36,000 for Blackpool Victoria Hospital, which helps with early diagnosis. We spent over £25,000 on other equipment. We now support over 20 hospitals throughout the UK. We have a regular monthly meeting and we've not missed one since we started. Overall, we've supported in excess of 6,000 patients since we started now, which is quite an achievement for a small little support group based out of Blackpool. The Swallows isn't just about one person. It's about the carers, it's about the patients. We've got volunteers. It's a whole array of different people doing different roles within the charity to make us very, very successful.
I'm now the Vice Chair of Swallows Head Neck Cancer Support Group. I have been involved for the last couple of months. I'm looking forward to the journey going ahead.
This has managed to take the charity across the world. We now have patients who contact us from places as far away as the States, South Africa and Australia.
I've worked with Chris for many years now, and we are very grateful for the support that the Swallows provides for not just our patients but also the carers, such as emotional support, financial support.
The support line, the telephone support line, is fabulous, but a lot of people prefer to do face-to-face. So the support meetings that we have is for patients, it's for carers, and it's for anybody who's been affected by head and neck cancer in the area.
Well, recently I only attended a meeting myself a couple of weeks ago and actually found it really useful.
The shop itself, there's a lovely bunch of volunteers. We all get on really well, actually. You might only want to work a morning or an afternoon. You maybe want to work all day. Only maybe one morning or afternoon in a week. It doesn't matter. If you're volunteering your hours.
Let's put the mouth back in the body. I'm passionate about that because the mouth does get missed, but we can detect mouth cancers. It's there, we can look into the mouth. It's easier to detect sometimes than other cancers in the body, but early detection saves lives.
When I was diagnosed, my first question was, is it fatal? The answer was no. And I said, well, how do we beat it then? Because we're going to. That's, you like, the theme of our support meetings. We will survive.
We also have our 24/7 support line. So anyone can ring the support line at any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even Christmas Day. It will always be answered by a patient or a carer, and you can just talk. So there is an area in the whole of the UK, including Scotland and Ireland, that we don't cover. Our patient book is going to be available in Spain, France, Germany, Italy, New Zealand and the USA. And the idea of the book is to give it to every patient that is newly diagnosed. We're also having our conference every year, our Head and Neck Cancer Conference. It's always the first week in November. We also do various campaigns. We drive a campaign to increase awareness around dry mouth, because most patients with head and neck that have radiotherapy and chemo will come out with dry mouth, and dry mouth isn't just two words. You live with dry mouth, it's hard. We're trying to have a campaign where we get our boys vaccinated against the HPV virus. And if we vaccinated all our boys and girls, then hopefully head and neck would die out of a natural death within 20 years. We twin hospitals around the world so they can learn from each other. We've got the radiotherapy mascot. We've got a brand new website, and it's a fantastic website. It's not been updated for 6 years, so now the website is fully interactive across all platforms. We also have the mobile phone app. Mobile phone app is where you'll have it all on your phone, so the whole journey will be on your phone. We do an awful lot to try and get you that's going to go through this journey the information and the knowledge that you need at the point that you need it. So at the start I said cancer to the palace in 6 years, and there was me and Sharon representing the Swallows and all our volunteers amongst these massive, massive big charities in Buckingham Palace, eating cucumber sandwiches on the lawn of Her Majesty. We got it on behalf of everybody that's been on this journey in the Swallows. What one hell of a journey this has been, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the journey now.